Ever wondered what a wedgie felt like in parachute pants? Or how the Renaissance might have handled tidy whities under a doublet and hose? Yeah, we're asking the real questions. Strap in, folks. Tighter than an 80s waistband, because we're about to defy history, fashion, and probably good judgment. We're not, ju- we're not just bending time, we are warping through it, one awkward wedgie at a time.
The following is rated TV MA and is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
Good evening, weirdos, wild ones, and time travelers of the Wedgieverse. You've just crash landed into another twisted transmission of talk radio, your nightly blast of the bizarre, the bold, and the occasionally butt clenching. We don't do small talk here. We deep dive into the strange, the unexplained, and the unapologetically uncensored. So whether you're tuning in from a dusty desert highway, a cluttered bathroom full of conspiracy clippings, or the break room of your soul-crushing night shift, you're home now. Today is Wednesday, May 7th, 2025, which means we are officially 127 days deep into this chaotic, caffeine-fueled carousel of a year. That's 18 weeks in one day, 3,048 hours. Or the pain, or for the pain, loving stat, 10,972,800 seconds. Let that sink in, okay? We are already 34.79% through 2025. And what have we learned? That time is a construct. Reality is on fire, and this show, it's the smoke signal rising from the ashes. So buckle up, pour yourself something strong or suspiciously glowing, and let's see just how weird tonight's ride is gonna get. Welcome to Talk Radio. Let's make some noise. It's Wedgie Wednesday, baby, and tonight, oh, tonight, we're cranking up the dials on the chrono regifier, strapping on our history-hugging undies and tearing through the elastic of time itself. That's right, it's Wedgie Wednesday, time travel edition. Dun dun dun. The only segment where your briefs and your brain might get yanked in unexpected directions. Tonight, we're diving deep into the decades to uncover the evolution of the world's cheekiest prank. How did ancient civilizations handle a high-riding dilemma? Did medieval knights fear the dreaded chained wedgie? What happened when disco met denim? And was the 1980s truly the golden age of the atomic wedgie? From silk stockings and corsets to slap bracelets and side ponytails, we're traveling through the tidy-whitey timeline, one awkward yank at a time. So grab your DeLorean, tighten those straps, and prepare your glutes for impact, because history is about to get real uncomfortable. Welcome to Wedgie Wednesday, Time Travel Edition, where the past gets pulled into the present and your dignity hangs in the balance. Okay, era by era, wedgie history. Let's start in the gritty grit of the 30s. Suspenders, Depression era dust, and the kind of schoolyard pranks that doubled as character building. You weren't just fighting for respect, you were fighting gravity. Wedgies back then, rugged, rural, ruthless, delivered behind one-room schoolhouses with a firm yank and zero remorse. Corduroy was the fabric of the era, and it squealed when stretched. Underwear wasn't stretchy, it was sturdy. Think burlap meets betrayal. And if you got wedgied, you didn't complain. You tipped your cap, limped off with dignity, and hoped your overalls stayed on. Now, fast forwarding to the 50s, soda fountains, Elvis hips, and greaser pranks sharper than a switchblade comb. Back then, wedgies were swift, stealthy, and often delivered with a rebel smirk. Horrible rebel smirk there. Horrible. Performed behind diners, during sock hops, or after school by the bike racks. Bonus points if you got someone in a poodle skirt, especially if they did the twist right afterward and didn't even notice right away. The 50s wedgie wasn't about showmanship. It was about dominance. Clean, classic, and cruelly efficient. You didn't see it coming, and you didn't talk about it. You just walked home with your tidy-whities whispering tales of humiliation. Onward to the 70s. Bell-bottoms, polyester, everything flammable. This was the age of disco balls, lava lamps, and questionable grooming decisions. A wedgie here wasn't about pain, it was about creating a parachute of shame. You didn't just get pulled up, you levitated. The static cling alone could generate enough electricity to power a Bee Gees concert. And with pants that wide and collars that sharp, there was no escaping your fate. You looked fabulous, right up until someone weaponized your underwear. Then you just looked like a failed magic trick. Now crank up the dial to the 1990s. Grunge flannel, slap bracelets, and school hallways that smelled like Dunkaroos and despair. The 90s wedgie was an event. It came with names like the Atomic, the Melvin, the dreaded Double. Your boxers, branded. Your shame, universal. Locker rooms became danger zones, and God help you if someone caught your Fruit of the Looms during gym class. Your waistband became a billboard, and everyone was reading. But there was also revenge, the rise of the comeback wedgie, executed with the rage of a Nirvana chorus. You gave as good as you got, and sometimes you limped away bonded for life. Enter the 2010s. Skinny jeans, selfies, and underwear that cost more than your lunch. This was the decade where fashion met friction. Wedgies didn't just happen, they went viral. Caught on Snapchat, looped on Vine, slowed down on TikTok before TikTok was cool. Yoga pants were everywhere, which meant when the wedgie struck, it was maximum cling, minimal mercy. And thongs, let's just say the line between fashion statement and dental floss ambush got real blurry. Bullying wasn't just physical anymore, it was digital. One wedgie could lead to a trending hashtag, Wedgie Wednesday. Hashtag Wedgie Wednesday became a thing. People planned it. But let's be honest, if you survived a wedgie in the 2010s and it made the group chat, you didn't lose. You became a legend. Future of wedgies. Because no matter how far we go, someone's still going to yank your underwear. Buckle up, time travelers. We're blasting past warp speed into a world where fashion meets tech and humiliation reaches whole new dimensions. From smart undies to Martian mischief, wedgies have evolved, and they're more high tech, high flying, and highly unnecessary than ever before. Let's check the timeline and the waistband tension as we dive into the wedgies of tomorrow. Welcome to the 2030s. Smart homes, smart clothes, dumb decisions. Underwear is now Wi-Fi enabled and bioreactive. So when someone hacks your smart briefs, boom, auto wedgie, triggered by voice command. Alexa, embarrass Kyle. Your underwear can sync with your smartwatch. I'm having trouble understanding right now. Your shame delivered in real-time notifications. You've reached your elevation goal. No, Susan, that's not what I meant. Even worse, it uploads your wedgie stats to the cloud. Analytics, heat maps, AI-generated slow-motion replays. Wedgies now optimized. By the 2050s, we're wearing nanotech suits, self-cleaning, self-healing, but not self-respecting. Wedgies are now remote activated. A single thought or cyber prank from a frenemy, and your nanosuit tightens in all the wrong places. It's called a neuro wedgie. You scream, but your pants remain silent. Corporate team building days are never the same again. Now featuring augmented reality wedgie tag. Loser gets levitated. Winner gets therapy. The 2070s. Humans live on Mars. Fashion is fluid. Gravity is optional. So is your underwear. Wedgies in this decade are a spectacle. Think anti-gravity briefs. One tug and you're in orbit. Literally. Martian schoolyards come equipped with zero-G wedgie zones. The float, the spin, the slow-motion humiliation. broadcast live in 8D. It's no longer called a wedgie. It's a lift launch. You don't get pantsed, you get spacesuited. And finally, the 2090s. The singularity that arrived. AI has feeling. Somehow, they still give wedgies. Robot kids prank human kids. Human kids prank holograms. Wedgies transcend species. Your your underwear your underwear now teleports. But so does the wedgie. Instant, planetary, internationally embarrassing. 1 minute you're in your hover pod, minding your business. The next, atomic wedgie, delivered from the moon. The future isn't about avoiding wedgies. It's about surviving them with your dignity, or at least your circuitry intact. Okay, time for an interactive audience poll. This is your time travel trip too. Head over to our Discord and cast your vote for the next decade we'll be diving into for Time Warp Thursday. Option 1, the roaring 1920s. Speakeasies, jazz, flappers, bootleg gin, and Gatsby level drama. Option 2, the totally tubular 1980s. Big hair, neon everything, synth pop anthems, and the golden age of VHS. You know you want that retro rewind. Option number 3, ancient Rome. Togas, gladiators, public bathrooms, and emperors are behaving badly. Epic chaos guaranteed. Option number 4, the distant, terrifying future of wedgies. Year 3025. Robot overlords, laser wedgies, atomic underpants. The resistance starts with us. Drop your votes. Send us your wedgie war stories, or just scream into the void with us. We'll read the best ones live on next week's Wedgie Wednesday because history and pain must be shared. Well, that's it for our brief history of the backsnatch. You don't worry. We've got only scratched the waistband. Coming up next, Wedgie Wednesday, the great debate where things get a little tight and opinions get lifted. Listener comments and a few truths that will leave you uncomfortable. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Talk Radio, where we keep it cheeky weekly. And we will see you next week on Wedgie Wednesday with some of the results of the polls and any stories that people might share with us about wedgies. Them getting wedgies, them giving wedgies, just all them uncomfortable wedgie stories. Because any wedgie story is uncomfortable. You're like, yank right up the butt cheek, right through the middle of the crack. And as for future Wedgie Wednesdays, it's all about the weird and obnoxious of the world, whether it's celebrity stuff or just anything that has to do with kind of weird and funny and goofy and just, wedgie style stuff. So stay tuned for future Wedgie Wednesdays. I hope you enjoyed this show, and I will see you next week for the results of the poll and anything else discussed. Until then, see you tomorrow on Time Warp Thursday.
Come